pulling this thing apart. This is just get this shit out and let's get another motor in it and let's just get this thing going so we can get to the track and finally have some fun, burn out some ice cream with this goddamn thing. And I've been working on this for about, I don't know, maybe 40 minutes. We just gotta finish pulling the exhaust. Let's see, just the exhaust, and that's pretty much it. Oh, unbolt the shifter and pull it off the crossmember. That's about it. There's not really much else going on here. So, all right, let's get to that and we'll see what's going on. Oh, okay. What do we got here? This is the oil pan's off. Motor is out. Car's back down. Motor just I pulled the trans out, off rather. Clutch off. Yeah, this thing's sitting over here because honestly the garage is kind of full and I don't really give a shit about this engine, so I'm just gonna strip fucking everything off of it, throw it on this other 6-liter that I have, and we'll go from there. And I don't really care about anything after that. So that's that is that. We're making some progress. We'll see what we can. We'll throw the oil pan on everything and we'll get it going and we'll go from there. Quick shot of the motor that's going back in the car. This is an original 2000 block that had iron heads. This thing went into my turbo, my first turbo LS Mustang, the GT45, and I didn't do anything to this thing. I just slapped, I didn't do anything to it. I slapped a set of 243 heads on it and let her eat in that car, and on like 8 pounds, I think it made 403 horse and like 480 foot-pounds of torque. It was a fun car, but I did end up hurting it, and I pulled it all apart and threw new bearings in it. I actually threw another crank I had laying in it because that one was all wrecked. I went through, it's all Gen 4 pistons and rods now. It's, yeah, I'm fancy. I even painted the cover. And I was swapping shit over from this other motor I have, and I was reusing lifters, and they fucking just started falling apart on me. So I actually had brand new OEM lifters laying around, so I'm throwing those in here, and we're just gonna throw this whole thing back together, and hopefully this thing will not leak like a sieve like the other one. So that's that. Okay, it looks a little bit more like an engine, and we got our Chinese head studs here. We're gonna give a shout out to that P&W Car Mods and Maintenance. I was inspired by you, so thank you very much. Front cover's painted, oil pan's on, new gasket, so hopefully it doesn't leak this time or I'm gonna burn this whole car right to the ground. Rear cover's on, everything's on, Chinese head studs going my way, and I'm gonna paint the block after. It's actually just a little rusty looking. It's pretty clean, believe it or not. I scraped this down a while ago, but let's keep going, and hopefully this is hopefully this all goes well. Okay, heads on, lift plate on, clutch is on and torqued. We are throwing the rest of this thing together. I'm going to grab the transmission and throw this in, and I'm hoping this thing all goes back in today. I did not get around to painting the block. I don't care. I think I like the contrast between the rust and the aluminum. So that's the way she's going to stay for now. This motor might last only a day, so who really knows? And if that happens, well, like I said before, I will burn this thing right to the ground. Okay, let's throw this in. All right, this is back together. Let's jam this bad boy into this car, and hopefully I don't kill myself doing it. All right, guys, we got this thing back in. It took entirely too long. I'm rather irritated, but it's in. I'm gonna see if I can just hook it up and get it fired just to make sure this thing runs, so that way I'm not wasting any further time on it, and let's go from there. All right, guys, we got this thing back together. Don't mind about this. I only needed it for the intake air temperature sensor. I'm not gonna fucking put everything back together if this thing is gonna be an issue. And guess what? There's some oil leaking on the back of this pan. I don't know if this pan is warped or, but it's in right now, so we're gonna see what happens. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I'll burn this thing to the ground. Yeah. So we're gonna fire it up. I'm gonna bring my truck over and jump it because it's a little low. I was gonna run through the Wizard too, but I don't think I'm going to. It's a sloppy stage 2 cammed 6-liter. It really shouldn't be that, I don't know, whatever it was on before. Probably run it. We'll see what happens. If it doesn't, we'll go through it. But I just really need to check the oil pressure. That's the main thing. If that works, I'll put it all back together. If it still drips oil, I'll come up with something. But let's get into this. All right, guys, this is a moment of truth. I'm just going to turn it over with the key. Fuel pump is unplugged. Let's just see what happens here. Did not indicate any oil pressure. Well, let's fire and see what happens. Yeah, all right, let's see what happens. Fuel pressure, let's see. Zero oil pressure. Probably wasn't good. Two. Well, you saw it here. She runs. I'm going to put the water pump in, fix that thermostat I've been having trouble with. I'll put the water pump back in, thermostat, alternator, and it almost sounded, it actually idled. I didn't get that on camera, but it almost sounded like it was missing a cylinder or 2 or 5 or whatever. It was running really rough. I don't know much about these Hollies, so I don't know if I actually am down a cylinder. I might have to just infrared each one, but she runs, so let's go from there. Oh, she's running. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but she's alive. She's pretty loud too. Just a downpipe on. She's loud. Well, I would say this concludes the car. The next video, we'll be driving this thing, hopefully. I got everything back together. Just got to finish throwing the exhaust on, and that's it. And, okay, we'll see you when we're driving it. Nice.